Here are 8 life hacks for saving money from a couple that banked $50,000 just last year. Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Buried in $120,000 of student debt and struggling to set aside any savings, Matt of Distilled Dollar and his fiancée decided to buckle down in 2014. Quote, it took us nearly a full year to escape living paycheck to paycheck, he writes in his blog. It took about another year to inch past 10 to 15% of the recommended savings. Our third year was a breakout year. They tripled their savings rate to 60% and managed to save $50,556 over the course of 2016. The Chicago-based couple upped their savings through various strategies, which Matt, a licensed CPA, detailed in a recent blog post on his blog. And here are 8 of the best life hacks that he wrote down. Downsize. Quote, live big in a tiny home, recommended Mac. We live in a neighborhood where most of our neighbors are paying a higher percentage of their income towards rent. Of course, we could pay the same percentage and upgrade to a nice 2-bed, 2-bath, but we're more than happy with where we live today. He and his fiancée pay less than 50% of their total income for their 700 square foot condo in Chicago. They estimate that they save about $12,000 a year. Quote, seeing as how we could easily afford paying an extra $1,000 a month, says Matt. Next, negotiate your rent. Have you ever heard of this before? Quote, when we signed our lease, we went through the tried and true process of negotiation to lower the rent, writes Matt. We knew the market and knew our landlord's listed rent rate was extremely well priced. Regardless, we had our plan and it worked. It never hurts to ask. In Matt's case, it yielded a $2,400 return. Next, go car free. This may be more feasible for some than others, but if possible, trade in your car for public transportation, a bike, or your own 2 feet. By moving to a place within walking distance of work, Matt estimates that he and his fiancée saved nearly $9,000 a year. Leave a comment below to tell me if you did not have a car and you only used your feet or the bus, how much could you save in a year? Quote, this single decision had made me healthier, happier, and wealthier over the past year than nearly any other decision, he writes. If an active commute is completely out of the question for you, check out other ways you can cut back on Patreon at patreon.com/Shakaama. Next, use Amazon Subscribe and Save. Matt and his fiancée saved about $1,000 a year Subscribe and Save, a feature free on Amazon feature that allows you to manage money deliveries. Quote, the prices are more affordable than in the store. The delivery is literally to my door and it happens automatically, he writes. I'll leave a link below to show you how to Amazon Subscribe and Save. Next, cancel underused subscriptions. Quote, I would venture to say most people have some type of subscription they barely use, writes Matt. For him, it was a magazine, The Economist, which he had been receiving since 2007. He took a minute to cancel the subscription, and he now saves $97 a year. Look over your last couple of credit card statements and figure out exactly what you're paying for each month. Ask yourself, which can you cut back on? Next, go homemade. Quote, this was one of the biggest aha moments of the year for me, writes Matt, who estimated that they saved $5,000 a year by going out less. Not only did we start to cook more, but we found creative ways to save money at the grocery store or online. Plus, we're eating much healthier now too. And I would also recommend that you grow your own food too, so that you can even cut back on going to the grocery store. You can grow food on balconies, in pots. You don't have to live in a big, huge house. Next, distinguish wants from needs. This is a big one for people. Matt and his fiancée saved a couple of $1,000s by cutting back on things like dry cleaning, massages, Starbucks, and going to the movies. To cut back on wants, start by evaluating exactly where you spend your money. Try recording in each and every purchase you make for a couple of months. Whether that means writing expenses down in a notebook or using an app that will track your spending. After all, you can't save until you know exactly where your cash is going. Finally, change your mindset. Quote, we stopped a nasty habit we had of reading about great tips and then failing to implement them. Avoid our mistakes. Literally, do something today from the list and start saving money. Like the video, that's how YouTube works. Leave a comment, that's how YouTube works. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you all for watching.